Welcome back on the mat. So let's start in our upright seated position, easy pose, or you can even take a cross-legged position if that's easier for you. But when you do easy pose, you can get the knees to become heavy, dropping them down towards the floor, rest hands onto knees or in your lap, and start by closing your eyes. With the eyes being closed, feel the inhalations and exhalations moving in and out through your nose. This happens automatically, you're not forcing. It's seeing as though we're on the yoga mat, we always want to breathe deeper than usual. So start to deepen, but still keep it easy and effortless. As you make the breathing pattern deeper and slower, make sure that you get length through your spine, slightly lifting in the sternum, the chest. Now that you've found a breathing pattern that works for you, just switch it over into Ujjayi Pranayama. So you don't have to make it deeper or slower. You just create a bit of friction in your throat as we do Ujjayi. Continue with your breathing as you open your eyes. So you grip hold of your knees. You're going to use the exhale to round in the spine, tuck your chin. Inhale, arching in the back, looking up. So exhale, slightly leaning back, inhale, arching. Exhale, get as much movement in your spine as you possibly can. And keep in mind that you want to link breath and movement. One more inhale. Hold this position, keep breathing, pulling onto the knees, lifting chest, arching in your back. Then with an exhalation, lean with chest and chin, take it forwards, keep sit bones on the floor. Bring your arms out to the sides and relax the forehead down to the floor or just close to the floor. Inhale, feel the back muscles working as you lift back up, keeping length in your spine. And then position hands onto the mat as we make our way into a downward facing dog. So you can step back, but grip the mat and get into a nice and steady downward facing dog. So chest is moving to the back of the mat towards the feet. As you stretch to the back of the mat, work your heels closer down to the floor. Get your feet together, so position the inner heels and big toes together. Inhale, bend into knees, and exhale, straighten your legs. Inhale, bending into knees. Exhale, straighten. In breath, bend. Exhale, straighten. Position your feet mat width apart. Keep the toes aligned. Just get a slightly wider stance. Same thing with an inhale, bend. Keep the knees more or less in line with the feet. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Position normal downward facing dog. Feet on the mat. And then bend your knees, look up. Inhale, position feet in between hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. You can get softness in the knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Take arms to ceiling. Exhale, mountain pose. Pull your shoulders forwards, then pull them up to your ears, pulling back, and then slide them down. Now, this is maybe an over-exaggerated movement or posture for the upper back and shoulders, but first keep pulling back, and then just soften into it a little bit so that the shoulders draw more in line with the chest, and so that we still have a nice and open chest and we're standing up tall. Inhale, take arms to ceiling, reach. Exhale, empty your lungs as you take it into a forward bend and bend into your knees if you have to. In breath, halfway lift. Plant your hands and with an exhale, take it back into plank. And as we get into a plank position, start to shift a bit of weight back and forth so we feel into the forearms and into the wrists by moving weight around. You're going to bring weight back to a neutral position. You have the option of doing knees, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. You also have the option to get into up dog or cobra pose. Knees on the mat or off the mat. Exhale. Take it into down dog. From our normal down dog, step your feet very wide off the mat. But if the floor is slippery, then rather keep your feet on the mat. But if you can get yourself into a wide leg down dog, do so and start to work your forehead closer to the floor. So focus on stretching into the shoulders. We may be collapsing into the back a little bit, or at least into the shoulders, by turning it into a little bit of a shoulder stretch. Now with the spine perhaps arching too much, start to draw navel to spine and get length in your back. So it's going to feel like you're pushing your ribs up towards the ceiling. Now with that more stable position, get your feet back onto the mat into a normal down dog. Bend your knees, look up. Inhale, feet in between hands, halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Move with awareness. Inhale, arms to ceiling, reach. Exhale, mountain pose. We're going to do the same thing with the shoulders. So pulling them forwards, pull close to ears. Start to pull them back, then slide them down, and then just neutralize a little bit. You'll feel that stretching as far back as possible. Feels a bit unnatural. Just place them into position where you feel that you've got space and openness in the chest. Inhale, take arms up. Exhale, swan dive. Maybe now you don't have to bend knees, but if you still have to, then do so. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands with an exhale, take it back into plank position. We're once again going to shift weights around, but this time around, shift more weight forwards and then back. Bring it back to neutral position. You can lower down Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. In breath into upward facing dog. And exhale, into your down dog. Keep the feet the same distance apart, just pivot the heels so that you get the heels to touch. So you just externally rotate in the legs, and then as you get the heels together, actively work your heels down to the floor. Start to float your toes off the mat. Bring your toes down, part the heels, normal down dog. Bend into knees, look up. Inhale, feet in between hands, halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms up. Exhale, mountain pose. We'll do the movement with the shoulders one more time, so pull shoulders forwards, almost like the chest caving in. Then pull up, pull back, and draw shoulders down. And then find healthy positioning with the shoulders. Inhale, arms up, shoulders stay away from ears. Exhale, forward bend, head to shins. Shoulders still away from the ears. In-breath, halfway lift. Plant your hands, exhale, take it back. And lower down, Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. In-breath, upward facing dog. Exhale, into your down dog. Keep your down dog position exactly the way it is, especially when you now think of the arms and the back. Use in-breath to raise your right leg. So you don't want the hips to swing to the left. You're simply taking right leg up. If the left hamstring is very tight, then bend into the knee, but keep the right leg straight. Then squeeze knee to chest, lower your hips. Pull your knee as close to your chest as you can. Push away from the mat, round in your spine, step your right foot between hands. Inhale, take arms up into a high lunge. Back leg straight, palms facing one another. Deep inhale. Exhale, pull your elbows closer to your rib cage, bending in the arms. Exhale as you bring your hands down to the mat, push away from the floor, float your right foot off the mat, step it back, lower down, Chaturanga. Controlled movements, inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale into down dog. Focus on getting really good alignment. So firstly, you are in your down dog, and then without moving or changing the shape of this down dog all too much, float your left leg up on inhale. Squeeze knee to chest, lower hips into plank, push away from the mat, keep pushing around in the spine, step left foot between hands, inhale, arms to ceiling, high lunge. Exhale, pull your knees towards your chest or towards the rib cage. Keep the arms bent. Keep back legs straight. Exhale, neutralizing spine. Hands down to the mat. Push away from the floor. Float your foot off the mat. And then step it back. Chaturanga Dandasana on exhale. In-breath, up dog. And exhale into down dog. Traditional down dog shape. but externally rotates in the shoulders. Bend your elbows, pull the inner elbows closer together. Keep shoulders away from ears, no tension in neck. Exhale, straighten your arms. Inhale, bend, tuck your elbows. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, lower hips into plank. Lift right foot off the mat. Take the right leg to the right side of the room or studio. Don't lift in the hips. Inhale, take it back. Place the foot down. Floating left foot off the mat. Keep core engagement. Exhale, take the leg out to the left. Inhale, take it back. Plank. Lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Bend into knees, look up. Inhale, feet between hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms up. Exhale, mountain pose. In your mountain pose, use inhale to bend your knees, grip hold of your triceps as you get the elbows in line with the shoulders. Use an exhalation to go a little bit deeper, so sink down a bit more, tilting in the pelvis. Float your toes off the mat. Push the balls of the feet into the floor, heels into the floor. The breath is nice and deep. Another full inhale. Exhale, toes down. Pull the forearms towards the mat. Keep length in your spine. So you keep looking up and you're just getting your forearms a bit closer to the mat. Feel the abdomen working on the exhalations as you draw navel to spine, hopefully taking you a little bit deeper. And simply release the hands onto mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands, step it back, and lower down through your vinyasa. In breath, upward facing dog. Exhale, into down dog. Inhale, raise right leg. Exhale, step foot between hands. Inhale, take left leg up to ceiling into a standing split, but then bend your knee and pull knee into chest. You might want to keep your hands on the mat for support. You'll squat down, swing the left leg through, bring it out in front. Still keeping hands on the mat. We can eventually do this without supporting with the hands, but the leg is straight, fingers on the floor. Shift weight forwards as you get heel off the mat. Pull your knee in. Squeeze it into your chest and then take it back up to a standing split. Bending knee to chest. Start to squat down. Take your leg through, coming down. Bending into the knee, pull it back, up into a standing splits. Exhale, step your foot not as far back as a warrior 1 or 2, just angle your back foot and come up so we've got a slightly shorter stance. Grip hold of the forearms behind the back, square off in the hips, nice deep inhale. Exhale, lean with your chest and chin. Turn it into a forward bend. Maybe it's more of a halfway lift in order to keep length in the back. Keep pushing forearms into the back into forearms. Use exhalations to go a little bit deeper. You want to maintain the length. Pull the right hip back. Keep breathing. Use in-breath, lifting back up. Just get softness into the knee as you relax or release the hands back onto mat. Position the back foot further back, step right foot back to join. Plank to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale to down dog. Even though we're moving through a sequence of 5 on the mat, body constantly moving, you want to maintain a sense of calmness and ease in the body. And I think the easiest way to achieve this state is by keeping your breath deep, slow, and controlled. And I'll raise your left leg. You want to master the breath on the mat. Exhale. Place foot between hands. Find your balance. Take it up into standing splits. Bending your knee. Squeeze knee to chest. Start to squat down. Bring your leg through. Hold. In order to get out of this one, you might want to, that was a bit sloppy, but make your way onto your heel, onto the ball of the foot, and then swing it back into a standing split. Bending into knee, start to squat down. Take your leg through. Try and make the movements as controlled as possible. Not always that easy, but once again, pulling it back. Take your leg up. Standing splits. Then exhale, bring the leg down. Don't step it too far back, but get heel to alignment. Pivot back foot. Grip hold of the opposite forearm at the back. Square off in the hips. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, lean with chest and chin. Forward bend. Avoid hyperextending in the front knee. Pushing the arms into the back, but also pushing back into the arms. Inhale, lifting back up. Release the arms, bend into the front knee. Hands to mat, step it back. Plank to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale into down dog. Place your knees onto the mat. Reach with the arms back as you relax into a modified child's pose. You can make your way back up onto all fours. You can walk your knees forward slightly. Get your knees together as you part the feet. See if you can sit in between the feet. If this is really challenging, then I'd suggest that you keep weight on the hands and lift in the hips, or sit on a block, or get the feet together, parting the knees. Then it would become a Thunderbolt Pose, and this is a hero pose. If you can go down, then come down onto the forearms. If this is quite intense on the quads or the knees, then maybe get back up onto the hands. If this is a good stretch, you can hold it here, or you can come all the way down onto the floor. Just keep in mind that you want to keep the knees together and not let the knees part if you go deeper into the posture. You can get back up onto the forearms, then up onto the hands, making your way out of this one, straightening the legs into a down dog. Nice way to feel into the legs. You can walk it out before we get to a seated position. So just feel into the right leg, the left leg. And we'll make our way to seated. So you can step into seated, or you can once again do that jump. We practice bending into the knees, looking up and jumping. And then as you come down, straighten your legs out in front, but part your feet, get them hip distance. So not our traditional seated forward bend. We just keep the feet in line with the hips. And then you take an inhale, getting length in your spine. With exhale, get the hands over the balls of the feet. Inhale for halfway lift. And exhale, keeping length in your spine, pulling yourself a little bit deeper into the forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, and let go. And you can cross your legs. We're going to get into seated like the way we started the practice. We're dedicating a bit of time to pranayama. So the breathing exercise will work like this. In your head, you're going to count. Inhale to count to 4. It's going to be normal inhalation through your nose, so full inhale. After the inhalation, you're going to retain your breath. You'll hold your breath. And as we count, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's a full inhale. Retain your breath for 7 seconds. So also count 1 and 2 and 3 up to 7. After the retention of breath, exhale, but make use of the restriction in throat, so Ujjayi breathing, and exhale to the count of 8. If you find the first cycle, second, third cycle even, to still be a little bit difficult, then still inhale to count to 4, maybe just hold for 6 counts, exhale for about 6, but you want to work it up to 4, retain for 7, exhale for 8. Your eyes can be closed, your hands can be relaxed. So the most important thing with this pranayama, any pranayama that we do, is to be in a comfortable seated position. Even if you have to sit against a wall, that's fine. But really focus on doing a full in-breath. I'll do one cycle so you can see, but it's a normal inhale through the nose, holding breath, and exhale, Ujjayi, twice the length of the inhale. So I'm going to do one cycle. That's one cycle, and then you repeat. So we can do it together. I'm not going to be counting for you. I believe counting the breath in itself is a nice distraction for the mind. So you just count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Hold, 7 counts. Exhale, 8 counts. Relax shoulders back and down. And let's start with this very powerful breathing technique. After your exhalation, allow your breath to return back to a natural breath by slowing down the exhalation. We allow the heart rate to go down. By deepening the breath in general, we build up a tolerance for CO2 in the body. And by holding the breath for 7 counts, we most definitely boost the process of building up a tolerance for carbon dioxide or CO2 in the body. And there's a lot of benefits linked to having a better tolerance for CO2. Just feel your body being more calm, more relaxed as we got into our parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest. And with this more calm and relaxed state of mind, you can slowly make your way down into corpse pose. So as you're getting comfortable in corpse pose, just know that the pranayama exercise we did is always there for you. If you feel stressed or anxious, you can do the breathing technique because automatically the heart rate will slow down. You can't challenge your physiology. If we regulate the breath, we will be in charge. But it's now time to relax completely and just to allow your breath to be natural. Stay in this corpse pose for as long as you want.